If William Shakespeare lived today, what piece of technology would he like most?
Well,
And
Laptop.
why?
MacBook.
You're
Yeah,
not allowed
laptop.
to say the computer for writing, though.
not allowed to say computer for writing.
That's what he was saying.
Oh, okay.
did
Oh,
you say
sorry.
that?
Oh,
Yes.
we didn't listen to the.
I know,
Sorry,
yeah,
we jumped
yes.
the gun. Sorry.
Well,
A Kindle, so he could read a lot of other plays.
I
Yeah,
don't know
Kindle's
if he
good
liked
answer.
reading other people's plays. I think he was too obsessed with his own.
A camera, so he could film himself or film the play
Film.
being performed.
Yeah.
He'd
camera.
probably really enjoy. They say that, don't they? That Shakespeare would have been in TV now if he'd been alive.
Yeah.
So a
Yes.
TV with, TiVo, Sky Plus or something, so he could record things to watch it at his leisure.
I'm
like
gonna
The
go.
Wire and
I'm gonna
stuff.
go with a NutriBullet.
To make juices.
Just to make juices to keep
Yeah.
himself,
Keep himself healthy.
healthy.
Because
Yeah.
he needed
Oh.
to keep his brain ticking over.
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah. So plenty of kale,
Excellent. Blueberries.
Yeah.
blueberries.
Okay. Okay.
Right, that was a good caveat at the end.
I think he would probably like film and television. I think he'd quite enjoy writing for that.
Yeah, I think he'd do a good screenplay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the very fact that there's been so many adaptations of his work shows that kind of structurally it all works. I think he'd be quite sort of left field. He'd be a bit of a Tarantino,
Yeah.
sort of left field crowd pleaser. So I'd like to see a William Shakespeare pen film. I think that's not going to happen, is it? He's a bit dead in that.
I imagine he'd quite like cars.
Any reason?
No, they're
People
fun,
do,
aren't they?
don't they?
People do.
Yeah.
Good.
How much of the story in Bill is true in William Shakespeare's life?
Not much of
Well,
it.
don't they know? There are lots of facts on it. Like, was he in a band?
He did go to He did go to London
He went to London. I don't
He
know if
lived
he
in
was
Stratford.
into interpretive dance.
or Luke. Was he? Maybe he was a lute player. I don't
I
know.
think Larry said
Well,
he
one
was a
thing's for
musician.
sure. At one point, he was definitely commissioned to write plays by the Queen. So we know that happened.
We know that Marlowe was killed.
But were they friends?
Well, we don't know that,
Okay.
but
I think
it's a fact that he was.
Is that a spoiler?
Maybe is a bit. We know that
Or was
we
he?
know that something bad happened to Marlowe outside a pub in
Yeah.
Deptford.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
No, I wouldn't say a great deal, but there's aspects of the film that have to be true in order for him to become what he became.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, there's actually a surprising amount. A lot of the beginning of the film, it's kind of like a film of bookends in terms of the facts. So the beginning of the film is all true, and he living in Stratford, him having a number of different jobs. History sort of talks about him potentially being a sailor, a teacher, working potentially even in a butcher's, which we reference in the film. And at the end, obviously, we pick him up being a playwright. He moves to London. And starts to get work on the stage, working as an actor, which we have in the film. So there's kind of
And
a
he
lot
walked.
of.
And he walked to London. I think that's true.
Well, I don't know. I think
somewhere.
I don't know how much that one can be verified. There is actually. It's definitely one of the common facts that's peddled out about him. I don't know whether it's true. There's a Shakespeare walk that you can take today and follow sort of a route down to from Stratford to London.
Yeah, you'd have to cross several motorways, I think.
Yeah, no, you might die, but it's a lovely route.
In Bill, you played many roles each. How did you manage changing your outfits every time?
Well, they give us a lot of time to change.
Yeah, and you're not necessarily playing the same at different parts each day either. There are days where you're one character, right? So
Yeah.
Often the way it works is that we're scheduled by our location. So whatever character we're playing in that location, we'll be playing for the week or however long we're there for.
I mean, sometimes it gets a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the London set, for example, you had about 5 characters to play in that
Yeah.
set. Like the Furs guy,
So I had to do
Sausage
Furs,
Dude,
sausage, Croydon.
Croydon.
So I had a few quick
Juan.
changes. And
You had
Juan
to
in
play
that,
almost
yeah.
all your parts in London.
So sometimes it was quite quick, and they'd be going, "Where's Simon?"
Where's the sausage?
sometimes you're on the
And
toilet.
sometimes I'd be.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I did get lost. I got lost on my way to the green room. They couldn't find me.
To
You
the
were supposed to
coffee
be on set, weren't you?
You were in
Yeah.
the coffee shop, mate.
I think they did a scene without me.
They did, because you're on the
Because
toilet.
I wasn't there. Yeah, so it can be difficult.
Well,
Wow. We have a fabulous costume department and hair and makeup department, and they tried to make it every day so that you didn't have to do too many changes. But when you did, it was all done very smoothly. But you have to spend a lot of time hoiking on different costumes, but they allow time for that, so you've got 2 or 3 hours between scenes.
Why do you think William Shakespeare is still so popular?
I think because his plays are sort of have universal sort of themes in them. You know, like Romeo and Juliet is universal, about love and Othello, sort of jealousy, and I think that's
You've got
probably
the
what
ghosts of Macbeth. There's something for everyone.
Good stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Stories.
he did really good stories, and the number of times we found just in writing this that you think you're doing something terribly original, and then you go, hang on, no, it's like that bit in that play, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the number of books you read or films you see, where the kind of the structure or the story of or the theme is something that Shakespeare's already done.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find something truly original which doesn't in some way sort of stem from the sort of stories that he told.
He did it all. So you can watch any play and I think still be utterly enthralled by it.
We learn history with Horrible Histories at school. How did you learn history in your time?
I like the use of "in your time."
Yeah.
Like we're now from a different historical era.
We are really from a
Good
history.
God.
Well, we are from a different historical era because I learnt history from quite a boring man. He stood in front of me in a class and went, Queen Elizabeth reigned for... and it was deathly boring. So I read lots of books as well.
I learnt most of my history from writing Horrible Histories.
Oh.
I did history A level, but we were given topics like Britain between the wars and pre-revolutionary Russia and sort of. Well, yeah, it didn't really inspire me, so I don't think I turned up for my exams, which was terrible. And I used to love history as a kid, and then that kind of waned during that period. And then starting on Horrible Histories and writing that kind of reignited this love of history. So I learnt most of mine in the last sort of 7 years. Cool.
You guys, the whole cast, you must know a lot of history. So what is your favorite era? I mean, historical era, just so...
Oh, it's tough. I'm a huge fan of the Victorians. I mean, they did some terrible things, and I don't think they were particularly good when it came to, for example, the welfare of children. But I'd love they had this incredible kind of green light spirit where, they'll go, it's fine, we can definitely build a railway under London. Or, I think we can put a bridge across that. And they're kind of, they're engineering masterpieces of this sort of just real staunch, headstrong, British, no problem, we can make this work. It's always impressed me.
I think, I've always liked the Roman era. Don't know why. I think it's the uniforms.
Okay.
I've just
Pretty amazing.
I always I always love doing the Romans in Horrible Histories. Yeah.
And the wine, of course,
Yeah, with the wine, of course. Yeah.
Thank them for.
And Shakespeare shows, a very eccentric nature. I mean, in this film, but he probably was. But if he was a personality of today, who would he be? Like that kind of eccentric character or personality, comparable to someone, today.
Brian Sewell.
I'm trying to think of a young...
kind of young filmmaker, maybe.
Guy Ritchie.
no.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
Trying to
it's
do
something,
sort of quite
it was
street
very
things.
popular at the time.
Yeah.
I think it's, Shakespeare was universal then. He was mainstream then. So it would be someone like that. It'd have to be.
Yeah. That's as close.
It wouldn't be
Hardcore,
someone
isn't he, Guy
particularly highbrow. I don't
Yeah,
think.
but Shakespeare, he was quite hard. He had
I guess
he had
so.
murders
in his
and
time. Yeah,
in
fine.
Lear, he has people's eyes poked
Yeah,
out.
it's pretty
We'll go with
violent.
Guy Ritchie.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's a really accurate
yeah. I think it is.
example.
If any
Also
of the
because
kids
he
know it.
wasn't as famous then as he is now.
No,
So Guy Ritchie,
Maybe in 500 years, people will
20
be
years.
Yeah.
20 years.
20 years
People
time.
remember the name Guy Ritchie. You were
Maybe
alive
someone
when
like Danny
Richie was
Boyle
making
or something,
film.
I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah.
Irvin Welsh.
Russell Brand? No.
We don't know, actually. I mean, the thing was,
David
it's-
Cameron.
David. I think we can say definitely not.
Definitely
that.
not David Cameron.
I don't know. I think he put, there'd be a touch of Vivienne Westwood or something like
that's
that
good.
about
Yeah, I
him.
like that, yeah.
You know, I think he'd be quite sort of bold and brash, and it was all about getting out there with the people, and it was big crowd pleasers. And you know, Shakespeare wasn't watched in the way you think of it being watched today. It was rowdy and rough, and you know, sing song, and that they'd have cannon blasts to punctuate the drama in the middle of the play. It was quite.
Yeah, he was
sort of
he was
brassy.
revolutionary. He was revolutionary. He was the guy to know in London. So yeah, probably be like me or you, yeah. 'Cause they're cool.
Yeah, no, I think.
No.
Yeah, if we're the modern day Shakespeare, just end on that.
Yeah,
Please don't.
top.